This video is about self-forgiveness, but not self-forgiveness in a mindless sense where we get to mess up and hurt other people intentionally and then move on with our lives as if nothing happened, but in a premeditated way where we acknowledge that we're deeply sorry for what happened, but it's out of our control to correct the error or to undo the consequences of our actions, and where instead of spending the rest of our lives in regret, we apply the same compassion to ourselves that we do to others, and we forgive and let go of our missteps. And if this is something that you are finding hard to do, then keep watching. It's really complicated to be a human being, and even when we try our best and consider our actions and we try to make rational and informed decisions, we all end up making mistakes and we do bad things occasionally. It's hard to know the outcome of our actions, and we don't always realize how we affect others, and we end up causing pain even if that's not our intention. So we might do something entirely out of goodwill, but it turns out to be bad and harm someone, or we act out of impulse and aggression and do something entirely inexcusable that we can't ever take back or undo. It's not necessarily because we're bad, it's more like we're only ever really able to see things from our own perspective. And even then we have blind spots and we're not informed with all variables because we can't be. And even if we were, we are interconnected with each other in ways that we can't possibly know the outcome of. But when we do mess up and we hurt someone or we make bad life decisions that causes unnecessary pain later, the guilt we feel from being unwise or egocentric or greedy or vain or whatever's your poison eats us up from the inside, and we get stuck and blame ourselves, and we refuse to let go and move on, even if there's nothing we can do to change it, and we're just punishing ourselves. Now, of course, we shouldn't run away from guilt and feeling guilty if we've messed up. Guilt is something uniquely human, and the fact that we are able to determine right from wrong is part of what makes us beautiful and why we are always able to reach new levels of understanding and collaboration, and we push ourselves to reach certain ethical levels. But it's not a good place to stay because it only leads to more pain. And when we have learned from what happened and there's nothing we can do to change it, it's no longer serving any purpose to stay in that mental space. And just think about it. You may have people around you that love you, but you can't get back to them and be fully present because you're always beating yourself up, and it spins out of control and only lead to more grief. And in that case, you need ways to forgive yourself and apply compassion to yourself. And if you hang on, I'll come back to that shortly. But before that, please subscribe to my channel if you are getting any value from the content. So I want to just quickly touch on another sort of guilt that we may suffer from, and that's a little bit more hidden. Sometimes we feel guilty about something that was never our fault to begin with. For example, if we have childhood wounds, like maybe we grew up in a family where things were difficult with mental or physical abuse, and we were led to believe that it was somehow our fault, or we were in a situation where we had to protect one parent against the other and we failed to do so, or someone that we love and trust are struggling with addictions and we can't help. Obviously, that's not our fault. We still adopt and internalize that sort of guilt, and it's really painful. And if you feel that way, self-forgiveness might be an unexpected gift that you can choose to give yourself. And it starts by awareness, that you get aware of the fact that you are hurting and you have been for a long time, and it's holding you back from living the life that you want, or to accomplish goals and dreams and build loving relationships because you feel like ultimately you are unworthy or undeserving. So you need to start expressing this as clearly as possible to externalize the pain And this can be anything from painting to playing music or writing poetry about it. But you also need to confront your pain directly and be as verbal about it as you can, because language helps us in making sense of things. We attach meaning to things when we use our words, and also it gives us a chance to sort of rewrite our stories by using our words and actively choose to see things differently going forward, to be responsible and accountable for our actions, but at the same time apply compassion to ourselves and acknowledge that we're really trying the best that we can. So go out and get a journal or piece of paper and list the things that you feel guilty about, and go into detail about what happened, what was said or done, and how this affected you and others, how you feel about it today, and what your relationship are with these people today. And by the way, if your language skills are more of an oral nature, I suggest you record yourself on your phone or elsewhere instead of writing it down, but you want to get it out and not just have your thoughts going around in your head. Now, depending on what happened and whether you hurt yourself or others the most, you probably need to apologize. And if you've already done that, maybe you need to do it again, because you want the person that you hurt to fully understand that you're sorry, so they're able to heal and regain trust. Now, of course, this is a little tricky because you need to be respectful of the fact that the person doesn't necessarily want to hear from you. But in most cases, having someone say that they're sorry is a tremendous gift. But simply saying that we're sorry doesn't always remove the guilt, and I'll tell you why that is. So when we do something bad, it changes our self-image. And then if we are not careful, we might come to internalize the incident, so that it goes from this thing I did to this person that I am entirely. So if I said something bad, I'll internalize it, and in my head it goes from I said this one bad thing to I'm a really completely bad person, even if I'm normally kind and loving. And let me know in the comment if this is something that you do, and if so, are you aware that you are doing it? Same thing if we make poor life decisions or we get involved with the wrong people and it leads to difficulties and pain that could have been avoided. We might come to internalize our decisions and think we're idiots or bad at judging character, when really we're normally smart and considered. We just occasionally make mistakes, same as everyone else. And we need to address these sorts of runaway thoughts so they don't aggravate and give us a wrong sense of who we are. In that case, you need to apologize to yourself. And if you are a little courageous and you're not afraid to look dumb, the best place to do it is in front of a mirror and speaking the words out loud. So do it every day after you brush your teeth in the morning. That way you remember it and say, I forgive you for X, Y, or Z. So the first time you do it, you'll probably feel like an idiot, but you'll notice how it changes and it becomes a small ritual to start your morning off with, and the words start to sink in. This works because rituals embody emotions, and that helps us navigate and redirect ourselves and adapt to changing life circumstances. And if you are finding this useful, hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching. I have faith in you, I believe in you, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.